Good afternoon, Team IUD. It's Brigadier General Dan Tulley, Command Chief Master Sergeant Kenny Bruce here with your update for March 24th.
Why are we moving people around in the dorms?
Force protection remains our number one concern. The largest lodging operation in the AOR is right here at IUD, so we're still trying to work to maximize the use of our hardened facilities. First, we moved everybody in. Then we realized we had several hundred bed spaces that were not being used. Now we're trying to get everyone into those bed spaces in accordance with the rules and the guidelines that our Installation Lodging Council, your representatives, decided work best for our installation. So now we're putting everybody in the right place. We had hoped to do this on a non-interference basis as people rotated in and out. Unfortunately, with the delays and whatnot and everything going on, force protection is the primary concern, so we're moving people into the right places.
All right. Why do I have a roommate when we are trying to prevent COVID-19?
That's a great question. Had this from several folks coming in through the survey. So more CENTCOM personnel have been killed or wounded by theater ballistic missiles and attacks from our adversaries here in the CENTCOM AOR than they have from COVID-19, that's for sure. So what's our bigger threat? Force protection is our top concern. We still have to balance that with how we respond to COVID-19. Lots of things we could say on this, but when it comes to the whole AOR, having one roommate, no one on IUD has more than one roommate in the room that they sleep in, that's a pretty good deal. On top of that, the risk of two healthy people rooming together is fairly low. If one of you gets sick, we're going to take you to quarantine or to isolation, and we'll take care of both of you to make sure that COVID-19, if it pops up, doesn't spread. We still have no cases of COVID-19 on IUD Air Base as of today.
All right. When am I going home?
Great question. So I'm going to read to you because there are a couple of comments about conflicting guidance. There is a lot of guidance, but if you're able to take the time and read through it, it's really not conflicting. It's all fairly straightforward. This is from the U.S. Central Command Statement on Quarantine Procedures in the Area of Responsibility. It's available on our Single Source of Truth link, so go to the 379th Air Expeditionary Wing page, and the link for COVID-19 will take you right to this. So CENTCOM's ordered to stop movement of all forces deploying to the CENTCOM AOR. They're also trying to initiate the requirement for a 14-day quarantine at home station prior to deployment. So that's what I think is happening. Most people are hearing stop movement and they're not continuing to read. But if you read the rest of this statement from CENTCOM, some units and service members will be temporarily held on station while their replacements are quarantined. So maybe there'll be a 2-week delay. But this policy is not intended to otherwise delay or prevent the flow of service members or units out of CENTCOM. This policy is also not expected to delay the drawdown of forces from Afghanistan. So again, go back to your squadron commander. Depending on the type of unit you've got, that's going to determine when you move. And right now, we've got a rotator showing up tonight. So it all depends on who you are. Just talk to your squadron commander. What else you got, Chief?
All right, really fast. Let's try to get through these. Do we think we are doing this correctly? Currently, we are causing more people to be less socially distant because how the chow hall lines are, this is just one example of many. I think limiting the base access is the correct answer, though.
Yeah, so there's no halfway. When all of the wing and base leaders get together and talk about this, to put in place force health protection measures, whether it's reducing lines at the DFAC or social distancing or any of the other things, restrictions to base, there doesn't seem to be a halfway, right? So our choice is either do everything, lock it all down, everybody sitting in their room alone, or continue with the mission and allow some things that are lower risk so that we can maintain morale on the population, on the installation as well, like keeping the gyms open, letting people work out and things like that. We're still trying to work through the specifics because none of us have been through this before, but it's always a balance. Let's take one more and then we're out.
All right. How are we going to sustain the current pace for 6 to 8 weeks of a worsening scenario? We have started a sprint for a marathon that may cause more harm than good.
That's an interesting question. Wasn't there another comment in there about people working 6 days a week and 12 hours a day?
Yeah, here we are ramping up 12-hour days, 6 to 7 days a week.
I'm not sure where you work, but I'm pretty sure we've got a few thousand airmen who would like to figure out how to get into that unit. The standard here is always about a 10 to 12-hour workday for airmen who are deployed 6 days a week. That even applies to folks like me who live here with my family. So I'm not sure where you're working, but 6 days a week is about the standard. Look at any of our defenders, any of our aircraft maintainers out there on the flight line. Those guys are working 12, 13, 14 hours every day, 6 days a week. Sometimes they get a day off. So thanks for keeping up the wartime pace. We do that so that we can minimize the number of people living over here. If you've got too much time off, then you probably shouldn't be deployed in the first place. Thanks for your patience, and thanks for everybody working hard to make all of our missions continue, and thanks for trying to strike the right balance. Thanks for the feedback. Keep it coming.
Keep it coming.